This week, I get sent to the realm by an Italian. There's chaos in race B, quite literally. And there's traffic jam. Of course there is at the Nurburgring 24-hour. Hello everyone and welcome back to the Gran Turismo weekly race guide here in 2022. Now, I don't know whether this will be the last weekly race guide or not because I've no idea whether the dailies in GT7 are daily, weekly, yearly. I've no idea. No idea at all. But speaking of GT7, how many days to go? Well, you don't really need the countdown now, do you? Because there's 4 days. 4 days to go. Obviously, we get to see some of the reviews sooner. There's obviously been some leaks as well with early copies from Amazon US. You lucky things. However, we are here in GT Sport. We are here. We are now. We are at Brands Hatch Indy, and we are in the Toyota Yaris for the final race A of what I'm doing anyway. Obviously, they should continue even though GT7 is out. Let's have a look at the race details then. We're racing 7 laps here at Brands Hatch Indy. It's a grid start. You don't need traction control, even though there's a little bit of wheel spin and sports medium tires. Basically, the wheel spin will help you. Also in the background should be the timestamps. Hopefully the correct ones this week, not the wrong ones like last week. Apologies for that. Adobe didn't want to load the proper ones in for reasons unknown to me, but there we go. Let's jump to the race then. Let's take a look exactly what happened because, unfortunately, I'm going to have to report somebody. Here we are then at the start. Flash away, flash away. Shout out to some familiar names here. We got Johnny, Shelty. Thank you for joining me this morning in the races. It was all good fun. Some of it not so fun, as you will see. Brake belts, -1. That's all you need to know for road cars. -1 seems to be the best for me. Traction control 0. So you will get wheel spin, but look at what the revs do here. The revs stay in the upper end of the power band, and it helps you massively here with the set-off. So don't use traction control. It will grip. It's 4-wheel drive. Happy days. We continue on. So we've got Swede up ahead of us here. Contrabass gets it all sorts of wrong. So Johnny cuts on the inside. I'm going to have to really take avoiding action there as well. Avoid hitting either of them. Shelty trying to go for the Moses maneuver as well. And yeah, we're heading in towards Druids. Too wide now with Johnny as somebody is off in the distance there. That's MML. But side by side with Johnny. Now, I wouldn't normally go side by side into Graham Hill, but with Johnny, I was like, well, you know what? Okay, fair dues. And Johnny, you beautiful human. Perfect racing. It really, really was. As up ahead, there's battling going on. So I just let off a little bit there because I don't go too wide into this corner. You lose so much time going too wide into that corner, actually. It's better to just, you know, be the better person, let off. And I'm not saying better person in a bad way here to Johnny, but Johnny was further ahead. And we continue on. Forced off there, which I nearly read as forced off. Just getting forced off, actually, weirdly. But hey, we're up into P7, P8 respectively. And Shelty looking for that P9 as well as they go side by side as we go through the first corner. So I stay in 4th gear for this corner as Kiki Paul goes off there. And Gianni was in 3rd gear. So I get a bit of a run here because there is a delay with changing gear in this car. We got on the inside and look at that. Up into the cursed one already. P6 by halfway into lap 2. Not too shabby at all as we look at MML then. I'm not going to get that done. Obviously an Austrian off there. Allegro. And up into P5 then. Let's fast forward a bit more as MML goes in towards turn 1 then. And MML going to get this all sorts of wrong then. Goes too deep here. I have to really slow down the car to get on the inside. And again, look at that change. 3rd to 4th gear there. They lose so much time with that gear change. And unfortunately, they're going to go a bit too deep at Druids. So we leave that corner in at P4. And we're actually going to advance a bit further on then. I'm going to give you a lap guide now. Finally at Brands Hatch Indy in the Yaris. So heading towards turn 1. Look for either the 2 board or the green marker on the barrier if the number 2 gets wiped out, which is unusual to be fair. And you're going to want to stay in 4th gear. 4th and 3rd gear are your best friends in this car. So 4th gear through this corner. 80 miles an hour is your dream apex if you can nail it. But through here, you will just get into the power band just enough there. And that is why you stay in 4th gear. So we then have Druids up here, the hairpin. You're braking before that orange painted barrier on the left-hand side. It's just before it. So you notice I'm just going to brake now. And you're going to stay in 3rd gear. And now you might think this is too low in the power band. But as you leave the corner, it'll be stable. And then you'll instantly get into the power band. And then you'll be fine. And as you see, we are purple. Graham Hill bend. So you're actually braking really early here. You're braking just after the green patch on the barrier on the right side. Or the 1 if you want to use that. But you're aiming for that curb there. And then you want to turn in early because you get lots of oversteer here. Accelerate through 3rd gear. Remember, this whole lap basically is 3rd and 4th gear. So that's all you need. We're going to lift off a little bit for this corner. You will need to do that. And then we're going to head in towards the double right-hander here, technically. So as you clip the curb here. You notice the end of the squared patch on the right hand side. That's what I use as a brake mark here, because you're going to brake and you're going to straight line the braking a little bit, and then you're going to come back across. Now, third gear for this corner, same reason as earlier on at Druids, the hairpin. You just get that momentum out the corner. You just get into the power band and you're not got the delay in changing gears. So third and fourth gear all the way through this lap. So here we go then. We've got a fight on our hands here for a podium as we head into turn one. So there's that 80 miles an hour. Oh, just missed it. Just dropped to 79. So the Italian gets it all wrong here. We get on the inside here. Lovely little move down the inside. And yeah, no door banging here. Happy day. So we're going to leave that corner. We are in second gear because we're just tight aligned. But here we go. Look, the Italian just pushes me clean off for reasons I'm not sure of, other than him being a bit of a moron, if I'm honest. I would use more French language, to be honest. But I'm trying to keep this friendly to all levels and all ages. But anyway, Chelsea comes out that corner and gives me a bumper draft. How kind is he? So I stayed in the centre there, if you're wondering, because I didn't want to jump left or jump right, and that causes Chelsea to have questions. If I remain in the same part of the circuit, Chelsea can then decide whether he wants to go left, right, or give me a nice bit of bumper draft. I actually think Chelsea wants me to get the cursed position, if I'm honest, but I don't know. Anyway, so I went a bit deep on that last corner because of dirt on my tyres, of course, after the Italian being a moron. But who is not a moron? It is Chelsea. We can have a good race with Chelsea. We know that much. So in towards paddock for the last time. Then Chelsea in the right gear. Yes, he's in the right gear there. Notice the fourth gear there. So there was no change in distance there between me and Chelsea. But I get down the inside at Druids, and we're going to get up into that cursed one, which I do think Chelsea wants me to get, if I'm honest. But hey, we will see as we come through this left-hander then. Will Chelsea attack? Well, we get towards the end, and Chelsea doesn't attack. We do get the cursed position. And that is the end of the race. So we are reporting the Italian to PD directly. I will try to. Hopefully they are still doing stuff to these drivers, because it was on purpose. How do I know it was on purpose? Well, I went back and I looked at the replay. So here we are then, and we are on board with the Italians. So they come through here. They made a mistake there, which is fine. And they catch it. We get up on the inside, and that is a clean move in my books there. And we've not engaged this Italian in any way, shape or form before this part of the race. And as it leaves this corner, it just keeps turning. Look, keeps turning, purposely turning into me, forcing me off the track and off. So, yeah, we were reporting them. Let's jump to race B. Welcome to then. Yes, you guessed it. It's Lago Maggiore. We've been here like literally every single week this year, it feels like, with different layouts, etc. But we had the full GP circuit this time, and it's Group 4 machinery. The combo we lasted, I think, on week 47 in 2021. Somewhere around there anyway, in terms of it being race B as well. Let's jump straight to the race details then. We're racing 3 laps here at Lago Maggiore. It's a rolling start, but no need to worry, and we're on the racing medium tyres. Very easy setup, very easy settings, and in terms of cars, you need the FF cars mainly here to have a good chance. RCZ is predominantly used. I used the Scirocco, the Audi TT was up there, but that is that. And now, livery! TCR Psycho Killer 69. Thank you so much for this livery. One of my favourite liveries that was done for the weekly race guides. So I picked it out right here for that Scirocco. Also part of Driver's Room as well. So TCR and Driver's Room. Do check out Driver's Room for liveries, etc. They are awesome and an awesome community. Let's jump to the race then and let's have a look exactly what happened. Because you don't just have one race, you have 2. And somebody else that I am reporting. Here we are then at the start. As you see, Scirocco. We've got the Megane there. That isn't Chelsea. Of course, we expected that. We've got Sciroccos everywhere, TTs everywhere, RCZs everywhere. We've got Subaru in there. But we will see what happens at Subaru a little bit later on. Brake balance for this car. +3, of course, because we are in an FF car. I've talked about the +5, +3 thing before. But +5 may be a bit extreme for quite a few of you. So +3 is my recommended brake balance. So this is race number 1. As I say, there are 2 races here. Let's have a look exactly what happened then. So we're going to head towards turn number 1. We have a Hungarian up ahead. Asia MRC. I'm not sure if they like Nikita Marzipan because they fly into them, and that causes me a big distraction there. But fortunately, we are safe and sound. Unfortunately, Nikita, not so much, as we advance a bit further on then with the Hungarian right here. So they're a bit slower through the S's. What can we do here? Nothing at the moment. Let's see the difference between the RCZ and the Scirocco as we get onto this back straight then. So quite even so far. And the RCZ just started to pull away, then just got the legs on the Scirocco, which means that the RCZ could be better for overtaking. It's not a car I'm going to use. Oh my word, they launched it through. That was a bit of a launch and a half, but even so, we get past, and we're about to have a cracking race here with Vlad then. So on the inside of Vlad into this left-hander, they see I go on the inside. Beautiful bit of racing as we then go towards this right-hander, and they're going to understeer, but they let off to avoid contact. Shout out to you, Vlad. Shout out to you for that driving. That is beautiful driving. As we then head towards turn 1, and you can see this gaggle of cars. We're going to call it a gaggle today. Up ahead, and they're just all over the place. Contact absolutely everywhere. One of the drivers we are reporting is in this pack, but we'll see that a little bit later on as we go through this left-hander then. Ooh, into the back of the French driver. They broke so much there that we literally hit them. They made the corner easy, and yeah, we carried on. Unfortunately, that's cost us a bit of time to Vlad here as the French driver takes that penalty. And Vlad was looking, but it pulls back in here. Goes to launch down the inside. Hey, we got a flying Audi TT. Vlad on the inside. Just hits the sausage a little bit here. Nothing major. That's just racing. And Vlad gets that position. And we're going to unfortunately lose out to the flying TT as well. The Finn wanting to win by flying. Yeah, we'll stop the rhyming as we go into the left then. And we're still in P11. Now, this experience you're seeing here of being in this big pack of cars, it seems to be the generic experience here in Race B. So there will be lots of contact this week in Race B. So if you don't like it, it might be one to avoid. I'm putting that out there right now because it's a lot. There is a lot. You're about to see a mega amount here. Absolutely mega. As we have 2 races of this, remember. So into the right-hander of Banky Boy we go. Now, Silic wanted to basically stop on the inside there. Beautiful stuff. I was going for the cutback originally, but they left just enough space there on the outside. I took it. And again, beautiful racing with Silic here, the Finnish driver. We've got Vlad up ahead. We've got Gianni up ahead. Shout out to Gianni here. And let's have a look then in towards the right-hander. We go Gianni down the inside of Data Davi. Looks like they get that done. Vlad looking on the inside of the Spanish driver now. They turn into Vlad again. That's not going to happen here as we then leave. We're looking to now get the move done. Be 3 in 3. Unfortunately, they push us off the circuit. I didn't think anything of it at this moment in time. However, going forward, we may think more of it. There's a hint there of what's about to come. Anyway, so Silic gets a good move or a good run through the last corner. Leaves a lot of space there, so I go towards the inside of the Spaniard, then in towards the braking zone we go. Again, they just turn into us for as if I don't exist. I'm not sure why. Anyway, into this right-hander, and look at this. Purposeful takeout once again, so I am reporting that driver. Well, I'll look at the replay at the very end of race B because it is very clear it's a purposeful takeout again. The 2 in 2, people purposely taking me out. I don't know why. Don't know what's kicking off here with these drivers, but hey, it is what it is. So Silic there had a run-in with somebody or something because they were going very slow down that back straight. Now, not too shabby. Went down the inside, bit too deep. The French driver covers the inside nicely. I can't go anywhere here. Going to finish in P11 after all of that. But yes, that driver there, Data Davi, we will be reporting. I'm hoping they do something because it's just stupid driving, moronic driving, as we say. So I wasn't happy to finish with race B on that with 2 out of 2 purposeful takeouts. So I joined this race, hope that the Spaniard wasn't there, hope the Italian wasn't there. They're both not there. Happy days. We can get racing here then. We do have a lap guide this time. We are going to do it on lap 1, and you're going to see P16 where they start. So you can see you do not have to worry about the start in terms of traction, going around corners, etc. In fact, P16 arguably gets a better start than P15 because I get an absolute run and a half here on the Spaniard, leaving that last corner. Look at the increase in speed here. Not sure what happened there, but hey, we got the run. That's all I can say. So lap guide in towards turn 1. We're going to go with Blue Van Man. I have no idea whether they're in GT7 or not, but hey, we're using them now. So as that blue van leaves the edge of your screen, that's when you want to go on the brakes, and we absolutely launch it down the inside here, but we get it stopped. It's a beautiful move at the end of the day, and wow. Yeah, I was surprised. Anyway, on the right side, at the end of the white marker there, on the right side, you're just going to dab the brakes and go into second gear. Well, I was so surprised with that move because I actually thought I broke myself just a tiny bit, but I didn't. I nailed it spot on. So I was a bit worried. I would have given a position back if there was contact and I'd gone deep, but because I was on the apex, it was all good. And they saw it as well. So shout out to you, Mako. Anyway, this right-hander here, you're going to use the orange barrier on the right-hand side. That's your brake marker. And also leaving the last hairpin, third gear. So good. It stops you spinning the wheels. Let's go through here then. We're going to clip the inside of the curb. It pulls you around a little bit. And we're going to leave that corner then. So heading down here, we're sort of behind a Porsche here, which is an unusual choice. Shout out to Alex for choosing that car. But on the right side, we have an ambulance. And we have a pickup truck. So you're going to use them just before they hit the edge of your screen. That's when you're going to brake. Now, I've tried both fourth and third gear for this corner. Third gear, you get wheel spin, but it's faster in the Scirocco to be in third gear. So just keep that in mind as Mario just gets pushed out a little bit there by Buddy as we head towards the left-hander then. And what we're going to use here, it's the dark mark on the curb. It's the one we always use absolutely every single time. We use that marker. If you are struggling with any of these brake markers, by the way, because we do it during a race, we do have an ultimate track guide of Lego Maggiore GP. So do make sure you check that out on the channel. I'll put a link to it at the end of the video. It tells you every brake marker you will ever need. Going through that last bit of the S, by the way, fifth gear, it stops the understeer. And we're going to have a good run on Buddy here as well as Pablito, actually. As we go on the inside then. We're going to get level. I was surprised he didn't go into Pablito's slipstream here to really try and get the pull along. But they didn't. Anyway, Banky Boy. So you're using the flag marker, which I've highlighted, or the end of the wall or 50-meter board, whichever you prefer. Now, I just brake in between them. And that's my preferred brake marker. And we're going to stop it. We're going to cover the inside here. And we get P12. Nice and easy. Heading up the hill. A little bit of a flash there from Buddy. I'm assuming that's to say hello more than anything. We come through the left. Oh, we've got somebody going very slow here. Matt needs to slightly lift for this corner. We lift anyway because we're sort of stuck. And we just give Pablito a bump draft. Now, on the right side, we have a gap in the trees. That's our brake marker for the double right-hander. For those wondering, there isn't really anything else you can use. Maybe you can look at the 50-meter board and judge it. But I use the gap in the trees. And we get another position then from the Italian, following the Italian, weirdly. Anyway, the second part of this double right-hander, you should be turning before the end of that curb right there. Turning, you might have to dab the brakes a little bit. Now, I do this in fourth gear in the Scirocco. Other cars, they vary. So we get a little bit of a run on Pablito. This name rings a bell. And as I was racing, I was a bit worried. But anyway, let's get on to this last corner first. The bullet sign, the last one, as that hits the edge of your screen, that's when you brake and turn in. You don't want to brake too late here. So there we go. As it hits the edge of the screen, we brake. Fourth gear, through we go. As I was saying, with Pablito, the name rings a bell for some reason, and I got a bit worried when racing, but he left me space there, so I was like, oh, okay, maybe it's all good. I'm thinking of somebody else. I'm not too sure, but let's find out. So, heading in towards turn one, and, oh, they go a little bit deep here, but they managed to stop it. Now, we look on the radar, and they get punted into me there. I didn't notice that at the time as well. I thought nothing of it. I was very well aware of the radar because they'd just got off. And they got punted into me, so I have no quarrels with that at all. Mr. Selector gets pushed out a little bit wide there. We're sort of in this big gaggle of cars again. You know, the second race where we've got a gaggle of cars. And this is what's going to happen every single race, I suspect. As they go side by side here. I'll lift because I wasn't sure what the heck was going to happen here. And fifth gear, remember, early shift to fifth gear there. It stops the understeer. So through we go. And we're going to get a bit of a run on Pablito here. So this was the test. I was like, okay, let's go for it. Let's find out. And Pablito just gives me enough space there. Some beautiful racing as we go into this right-hander. The slight tap, that's just racing. Nothing major. It gives me space. I mean, all sorts of carnage ahead, my word. Mr. Selector murdered. I wasn't sure where the other car was, and they suddenly appeared there. So I got very confused. This French driver just misjudges the space. I'll say why that's a misjudge and not someone driving dirty a little bit later on. So I can definitely tell that was misjudged. I wasn't happy. I was flashing my lights. Like, whoa, come on, dude. Gotta leave space. But we continue on all the same. So we're going to have a bit of a run here on the French driver then. What can we do as we head towards the final lap? We've seen a lot of this race, to be fair. But lots of action. So heading in towards the braking zone. I wasn't going to get that move done. They all go deep. The French driver into Kenzie there. So I was like, okay, I don't want to get on the outside here. And there's all sorts of contact happening behind. We come out this corner side by side with the Italian we overtook earlier on, FXO. They left us space, to be fair. Kenzie's going to go really wide here with dirt on their tyres in towards the braking zone then. And again, I was a bit concerned with where I was on the track. But the Italian sees me, gives just enough space here, I would say. And we're going to head down the hill. Right, so we've got FXO. We've got Buddy in here as well. We've got Kenzie going defensive. Buddy decides to go for the lunge and a half here. That's unfortunately going to get it stopped. Oh, no, does get it stopped, to be fair. Oh, it's the Italian who pushes the Belgian. I couldn't remember exactly what happened there. And Buddy left out in the realms. So we got past the Belgian driver, Kenzie. And I did wonder whether they'd actually go for the lunge there. They didn't. But we survived. We're going to fast forward a little bit here. So there's still some racing to go. We've got the Italian going down the inside of the French driver. And the French driver sort of slows us up a little bit here because I wanted to run, but they were just there on the circuit. I can't hit them, of course. as we head up the hill for the final time. Then in towards the left. They've got the run. They're keeping that position. But now, as we go through the right-hander, so I'm start looking. They go defensive. So I'm thinking, okay, can I go around the outside? Not quite here. They defend it very nicely. That's really good defensive driving from the French driver. Actually placed the car beautifully there. Had nowhere to really go. As we come through the right-hander again, we're still behind here. We've got a little bit of a run, but quite a lot of people go defensive there. I thought that's what they were going to do. They pull it back here in towards the braking zone we go. I noticed they've gone a tiny bit too deep. So I was going for the run here. I was going to go left, but I saw they were going left. I was like, excellent. I'll go right then. And we're going to have a run to the line. Are we going to get this position? We are indeed there by a very close margin of, what, under half a tenth basically there. My word. That was a good, better race. I'm glad I did that race. But let's have a look at the replay with the Spanish driver taking me out. Here we are then. Notice I'm giving lots of room on the left. They don't give me room on the right. They push me off. I thought that was a mistake initially. You know, I thought nothing of it, as I said during that race commentary. But going through here then, let's have a look exactly what happened, because it's just disgusting. I've got to be honest. This kind of driving is not acceptable in any game. Never mind, you know, if you want to call it Simcade or whatever. But we go down the inside here, and then look at this. They turn into us, which pushes us onto the curb. It bounces us off. There's still room there, so that's fine. But then look at this. They foot to the floor, purposefully straighten up, purposefully take us out. No idea why. You're being reported. Anyway, let's jump to race C. Welcome then to the Nurburgring 24-hour. Of course, this had to be the last race of race C in GT Sport that I do. Of course it did. It's like somebody at PD is trolling me with this one. But even so, we're going to jump straight into the race details then. We're racing 2 laps here at the Nurburgring 24-hour. It's a rolling start. Do be careful, you're at the back, by the way. You'll have a couple of corners to do. And we're on the racing medium tyres. ×2 fuel, ×4 tyre wear. There's no pit stops. It's just a race. Or technically, it's a traffic jam, depending on how you look at it. And we are in Group 3 machinery. Now, in terms of the Group 3 machinery, it is literally, the Supra will be the best car here at the Nurburgring 24-hour layout. However, use any car you like. Most people struggle at this circuit, including me. I really don't like this circuit, so I don't really practice it that often. But even so, you can see actually in the background as well, lots of different cars in use. Thank you, Mungino from Driver's Room, of course. What a legend he has been throughout the entire series here of GT Sport and the liveries. Huge shout out to you. Huge shout out to Driver's Room for all your efforts. And a huge shout out to anybody who's done a livery at all throughout this entire series. It's been awesome. Let's jump to the race then, and I'm going to have a look at just the race. No lap guide here, but I will explain why I really, really, really do not like this circuit. Here we are then at the start. Now, for a laugh, check this out. P8 onwards didn't qualify. That's how early this was, ladies and gentlemen. But yeah, Consta leading the non-qualifiers there. We've got Gianni in here. We've got Shelty in here as well. Now, for the brake balance for the Toyota Supra, it is +1 that I use. You might want to use 0. To be honest, tyre wear isn't a major factor here, unless you're in an MR car and you're sliding for days. Right, so we're going to set off here. Now, remember what I always say. Tyre wear means tyre temps. I forgot this originally because it was just the morning. I saw Gianni up ahead start weaving. I was like, oh, yeah. Got to do that. So there you go. Gianni reminding me. Now, Gianni is going to be my driver of the week. That is absolutely for sure here as we head into turn 1 for the very first time. And everyone making it, actually, which was a big surprise here as we leave this corner then. Gianni goes out wider, which actually gives him a better run out the corner. Looking at that. Beautiful little drag out of there as we continue on. Fast forward a little bit here to the hairpin where somebody's just gone off. Somebody's just went to the realm there. My word, who was that? That was a Ford Mustang. And as we come through here, all sorts of cars everywhere. The Mustang on the left just puts foot down too early there, I think. And with the dirt on the tyres, heads to the realm as we go into the Schumacher S then for the first of 2 times. And we're getting a little run on Bobby here and Gianni and Di Nitro. Now, they all decide, because they're kind, to all run wide and deep and give me all the positions. So thank you, folks. Gianni especially here. Beautiful bit of driving from Gianni. This is why you're my driver of the week. Left just enough room there on the outside. Beautiful stuff from Gianni. It really, really was. We advance a bit further on here, and we have this up ahead of us. Yes, that's the big boy, wide boy, Peugeot Vision Gran Turismo car. The car I hate. As we come through here. Oh, gets all sorts of sideways. I lift off a bit too much here, and I go off now. I'm just gently easing off the throttle here, allowing Gianni to go through there. Some good sportsmanship from myself, if I do say so myself. As we come through here, Johnny actually gets the move on the Peugeot Gran Turismo car. We fast forward a lot there. You see, we're just stuck behind them. Unfortunately, the German there gets it all wrong into here. Now, that got tight, but I avoided them. Yeah, they got it all wrong there at the foxhole. And unfortunately, the Peugeot ended up in the realm. And you can see stop the war in the distance. Yes, a huge shout out for Ukraine and the fight they're putting up right now. As we see Gianni off there. Now, again, beautiful driving from Gianni here. Comes back on, very sportsmanlike stuff. Gives me just enough room there. Allows me to go through. You know, he doesn't have to there. Beautiful driving. Beautiful driving. But we get stuck behind the Supra here. And we just get a mistake there going through that fast right. Now, Cyberman goes for the move here. So this is beautiful. Now, I'd advise nobody going too wide into this corner. It's very, very sketchy. So I lift off here on purpose to allow Cyberman to take the corner. He had the run mat as well. And we come into this corner then. And it stays squad. But we've been stuck behind the Supra for a little while here now. As you saw with the fast forward. And the gap is really increasing here. So what I'm going to show you here is just how much annoyance this circuit can be. So obviously, occasionally you can get side-by-side action, but most of the time it's going to end up with contact and somebody hitting the wall. It always does. There are some exceptions, like me and Allegnum at the World Tour, for example. We had a beautiful side-by-side through here. But look at Cyberman here. There's no way for him to get past this Supra. No way, really. As long as the Supra sticks to their racing line, no chance. And going through here, again, just struggling. There's nowhere to go. Constantly looking left and right. Left and right. Looks left. Looks left. And then it's going to get this corner slightly wrong and going to go off the circuit here. Going to come out back on beautifully again. Good sportsmanlike stuff from Cyberman. But it's so annoying, this circuit. It's so hard to overtake anywhere because the track is literally like a car and a half width wide, basically. You can fit two cars side by side, but not 100 miles an hour going around corners with bumps as well. Very hard. Fortunately for us, the Supra goes off there. Well, unfortunately for that driver, of course, but it's fortunate for us. I'm thinking, yes, excellent. Let's go for it. Get towards the end of the first lap, and Plebe gets the mini carousel all sorts of wrong. And then I touch the grass annoyingly. So I'm going to lose. I'm going to lose the slipstream to Cyberman like an absolute pleb. Of course, there has to be a plebby moment in the last GT Sport Weekly Race Guide. And then this happens. Oh, my word. I was like, oh, no, you're kidding me. I'm going to be stuck behind this for another lap. The Peugeot Gran Turismo car, wide boy. In fact, the wide boy nearly catches the Jaguar. It's unbelievable speed down there. So if you are struggling and you just want to overtake people on the straights, that's your car for you. The Peugeot wide boy as we leave that corner. We're going to have a good little race, though, with Nazam now as we head towards turn one. And I like the livery as well. Very patriotic there with the Iberia livery. Good stuff. Right, so towards turn one we go. Generally, I'm looking for that tree on the right-hand side, but I brake just after it, and that was a bit plebby of me because Nazam brakes even later than I do. Thinking, oh, excellent. He's going to go deep here, so I'll come back. But I actually make a mistake here. I actually come back, and Nazam's still there. He was giving me room on the exit. That's my mistake. It's why I sort of let off, made sure Nazam went, and now we can get racing again from where we were, basically. We're going to have some good racing again with Nazam. So that was my mistake. I apologize for it after the race as well. Of course, we all make mistakes. I've always said that. If people make mistakes, I have no issues. You just apologize and you move on from it. And Nazam has kept that position. And we have a whole load of cars behind us. A Mustang, got Subaru, I think, in there as well. Now, the Mustang goes for an absolute lunge here, but nails it beautifully. It's a beautiful lunge. Done very well there by Jake. I was frustrated a little bit because I was like, oh no, we're going to have two cars now. Oh no, what do I do? I'm going to be stuck in a traffic jam for the entire lap. As we get in behind the Mustang, the Subaru backs out of that. So some smart driving going on from that Italian behind, actually, throughout this lap, actually. So shout out to you as well. So come through here then. We're in P8. Jake goes for the inside then. Peugeot was there as well. A little bit of contact between the two. We take advantage of that contact. We've got a Greek in the barrier there. And yeah, we're up into the cursed position. Of course we are. The cursed one is ours, apparently. Right, so here, I'm just fast forwarding to show you the traffic. I'm stuck here. I can't overtake absolutely anywhere. How frustrating is this? You're just stuck here. And I'm like, oh, okay. Now, I tapped Jake a couple of times here, so apologies for those taps, Jake. It was just you broke in certain places where I wasn't expecting it, and yeah, that was it. So we're going to try and go for the run again. So you saw there, most of the Nurburgring then, or half the lap, we've been stuck behind the Ford Mustang, not being able to get away. And here, look at this. So we can't really get past. Once we get a run, there's normally a corner. And again, Jake is just taking the racing line here. He's not doing anything bad. Gives me room on the inside here. I have to be very careful here as well. So a slight tap. So I lift off here. I want to give Jake that position back there because that was my fault entirely. Now, I hit Jake there. And he broke quite early because he was unsure about how to take it on that inside line. So while it's my fault, I lost out more anyway because I saw him brake and I went for the brakes myself. Lost out to the Italian. The Italian saw it very well, by the way. And the Italian knew exactly what I was doing here. So a shout out to you, mate. Was it Achin? Apologies. So they saw what I was doing. So I wanted to just be behind them both here and get the double slipstream. So I was like, excellent, here we go. So they're now having to decide which car to go to bumper draft, basically. And they actually go for a really smart one again here. Bumper draft the Mustang is the faster car in a straight line than the Supra. So that's what he goes to. And what he's planning here, I suspect, I could be wrong, let them go side by side, let them crash into each other, and I'll take the victory. That's what I'm thinking he's planning. So unfortunately, Jake just goes a bit too deep into their side by side. It's beautiful side by side racing with Jake. So shout out to you. And the Italian there does claim the cursed position. We finish in P5. But yeah, as you saw, it's a traffic jam. You can only really overtake in certain spots. So you're just sort of wasting your time in everywhere else, if I'm honest. But some people like it. The track's there for you if you want to take part in that. And that is it in terms of Gran Turismo Sport weekly race guides. That is the last one. I will be jumping over to GT7 the minute it comes out, of course. No idea what the dailies are going to be like or weeklies. We will find out in due course. A huge shout out to every single one of you who's watched any of the weekly race guides. I really hope they have helped you at some point in time or history, or you've seen how I get brake markers, etc. It's how I will get them in GT7 as well. Just thank you for anyone who has liked, subscribed, just being a part of the community. It has been awesome. I really do hope you can have some good races this week, and I really look forward to racing you in GT7. That's it though this week, folks. My logo's there if you want to subscribe. Do give it a like on the way out, and there's 2 videos there for you now. You've got the hype for GT7 because I'm hyped, and you've also got the Lego Maggiore GP Ultimate Track Guide. Au revoir, farewell, and thank you once again.